Dharma Bites is brought to you by Free Buddhist Audio, the Dharma for your life. Our work is funded entirely by donations from our generous listeners. If you would like to help us keep this free, make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. Thank you, and happy listening.
So Anatar, if you look again at your handout, you'll see that the second point is that we have no fixed or unchanging self or soul. So what on earth does this mean? Well, Anatar really is tackling that huge question of what we really are. Who do we think we are? What are we made up of? All those questions which you might sort of think about at 3 o'clock in the morning if you're lying awake, or if you had a really good party and everyone's gone to sleep and you're just a few of you sitting around discussing the meaning of life. That's what this question's all about. So basically it's not denying, if I say no soul, no self, it's not denying that we all exist. I mean, there you are, sitting there yourselves, and here am I talking. It's not saying we don't exist. No, it's saying what we think of as the way we exist isn't how we usually think of it. In other words, it's saying we probably think we have a self, a person, and a bit of us, a bit of our mind will actually think that is a thing. It's a real thing, and it has its own, so we have our own real existence. And Buddhism's saying, no, you can't say that, because no bit of us is really fixed. No bit of us, there isn't really an essence to us. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, I don't agree with that, and that's great. This is what we'll discuss. But this is what the idea of no fixed self means. It means you haven't got a real essence that's always the same. So let's see what the text says about this. Now, Nagasena, what he does, the king comes along and asks him who he is, and immediately Nagasena is tackling the king. He's sort of got under the belt, really, because he's immediately saying to the king, well, what do you think you mean when you say you, and who do you think I mean when I say I? It's a bit as if someone says, hi, how are you? You know, that's a normal question, but if you went along and said to a friend, hi, what are you? I think, what am I? What on earth? Do you mean it would take them by surprise? That's what Nagasena's doing. He's trying to take the king by surprise. So let's turn over, and we'll just read what Nagasena says when he first meets the king. So the king says, how is your reverence known, and what is your name, sir? You're always very polite if you meet a monk in the Buddhist texts. Nagasena replies, as Nagasena I am known, great king, and as Nagasena do others address me. Nevertheless, this word Nagasena is just a denomination, a designation, a conceptual term, a current appellation, a mere name. So the whole list is one long way of saying it's just a mere name, it's just a concept. He says, for no real person here can be apprehended. That means can be found, can be recognised, or can be known. He's just saying Nagasena is just a name, it's just a name tag, if you like, it's just a label. It's a bit like, here I am, I've been introduced as Elizabeth. It's a bit like me saying, well, there isn't a real Elizabeth there, it's just a label, it's just a name tag. So you're left thinking, well, what is she then? So that's what Nagasena wants. He wants the king to think, well, hang on, if you say you're called, what does that mean? Who are you then?
We hope you enjoyed today's Dharma Bite. Please help us keep this free. Make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. And thank you.